Blender is a 3D modeling, rigging, and animation open source program made by the Blender Foundation. The Foundation has created several projects themselves, showcasing the software's capabilities that you can view on their site. I suggest you go check them out. I had a blast watching them, and I feel you will too. Blender also has a built-in multi-layer video editor. I've used this program from when Adobe Premiere Elements decided it just wanted to die on me in the middle of Die Stinko Man, until I moved over to Movie Studio recently for an improved workflow. I later came to regret this decision, but I'll get into that later. From someone who is just starting out to someone who can put up with some of Blender's quirks for the more advanced features, this is leagues above Movie Maker. And since it's free, you don't have to worry about the legal or moral ramifications of piracy. So that's always a good thing. Let's get started, shall we? When you first open Blender, the startup menu will be that of the default screen for the program. Go to the drop-down menu here, click it, and go down to Video Editing. And here's the video editor, but you're gonna need to do some tweaking before we're ready to edit. Go to the drop-down menu under the Graph Editor, and scroll under Properties. Here you can edit the properties of the project, whether that be your resolution, frame rate, frame range, output destination, and your encoding process. Set the settings however you need them. Keep in mind, if you want to have audio, remember to set your audio codec. Otherwise, your output video will have no sound. I've learned this through many a tear. Another thing to keep in mind is to go to Playback and check off AV Sync and Frame Dropping. Now we can drag and drop videos, images, and sound onto the timeline and edit them. Let's just see how this plays out. Okay, looking good. To get a waveform like you see in all those other video editors, just click on the waveform checkbox while you have the audio file selected. Since this is a simple overview, I'm just going to go over what you can do. I'm not actually going to go into detail, because that would take forever, and quite frankly, people have made better tutorials on this. The tutorial series that helped me is that of Mike Myers. No, that guy. That guy. His tutorials of the old and current Blender are really expansive, and I suggest you check them out. Some of the highlights are image overlays with the ability to import alpha images, keyframes, automatic keyframes for fast editing, color balance, speed control, image sequencing for stop motion animation, video masking. This is a huge highlight, and it's why I regret switching to another editor, because this would have been so useful for a particular animation that I was trying to work on. And that's only what you can do in the sequencer. That's not getting into visual effects like particles and green screen. Many tutorials for those sorts of things can be found on Blender's website, but I'm sure you can find more than enough tutorials on YouTube for specifics. Trust me, there's a ton. So this entire time I've been praising Blender as a video editor, and I stand by it. However, to those that might be coming over from, say, Adobe Premiere, Blender might come off as a bit more complicated than your average video editor, despite it still being quite functional.
Psst! This is why I'm recommending tutorials in the description.
A good example of this would be through its transformation layer. The rotation caps out at 360 degrees. If you're a JonTron and likes to do multiple spinning rotations as your image goes across the screen at Mach 10, you're going to have to do several cuts to have that same effect. This also seems to be the case for the shortcuts and controls. They're just that bit different from the standard video editor. Here's a quick summary from Mike Myers' tutorials. Another issue I have personally is the lack of text options. The text for this video sequencer is only a recent feature, and it's very limited compared to what you've come to expect. There is a workaround where you can import text images and use that instead. Just when I was first starting out, it seemed like kind of a surprise that they didn't have this already in there. These are mostly nitpicks, but I think it's important to bring them up. As I said before, I still recommend it. You can do a lot of things in this video editor. and I hope this has helped you find a cheap alternative to those high-end video editors that cost a crap ton of money. Happy creating. Hey man, thanks for watching this all the way through. And it means a lot to me because I've been working on this guide for a long time. And you finishing this video to the end screen where I'm going to tell you like, comment, and subscribe, that it warms my heart a bit, honestly. I'm sorry, that sounds way too cheesy, but yeah, it's the truth. Anyways, if you want to check out a video, here's the two videos. One will link you to another video in the guide. The other video, I don't know. I'm thinking Gary's mod that I worked on, because that's a thing that I do. Or maybe you want to check out the channel. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You're an individual, free human being, but, you know, in case you want to.